string. Pull the string!
Scoodly, wow, wow, wow.
Hi, area backstage.
The human brain.
I'm Isis Queen from Barb Wire Dolls, and we're at Vans Warped Tour 2017 in Mountain View. The band started in Greece, in the island of Crete. It's the southernmost island, and we started when punk rock wasn't even like accessible, let alone a band to start playing on an island. And there were no punk bands. We were part of the rock scene, but they wouldn't book us. And so we started playing shows at our artist commune, and that's where the band started, and that's where we're from. We're from an artist commune called the Ikarus, Ikarus. And it's up in the mountains, only 20 minutes from the beach, but they say that's where Ikarus flew from with Daedalus, the old ancient Greek legend. And so we would have to take the 9-hour boat trip to Athens to play, and Athens is the capital, and they still wouldn't book us because we were a band from Crete. And so we eventually found this bar called Intrepid Fox, and we started doing shows there. We put on free shows, and we started booking bands around us to start a scene, to start something, because nothing was happening and nobody was interested in punk rock. You know, the crisis hadn't hit yet. There was no reason for people to stand up and declare anything. And so, you know, it was days of MySpace, and Rodney Bingenheimer, the famous DJ from K-Rock out in LA, found our music and started playing us on his radio station. And that's a huge honor because Rodney has discovered, you know, everyone that you can think of in the rock world, help, you know, bring punk rock to the masses, and was, you know, the man that started it all. So the fact that he was even playing a band from Greece, let alone us, was the biggest thing that's ever happened to a Greek band, and at the time. And so we sold everything we had. We took the opportunity and the invitation, because he invited us to come play LA, and we flew over with no money in our pockets, just the dream in our eyes. And that night that we arrived in LA, we went up to the Sunset Strip and we met Lemmy Kilmister. And eventually Lemmy ended up signing us to his label, Motorhead Music. Lemmy is God. When God reaches out his hand and says, "Come with me, I need you to be part of my legacy," I mean, that's everything right there. And we were the first band to be signed, a new band apart from Motorhead, to be on Motorhead Music, and the dream continues. No, this is our first Warped Tour. It's my first experience of Warped Tour, and it started off rocky because our bus broke down on the way up to the first show in Seattle, and we're driving from LA up there. So we ended up having to scratch that, leave that up in Chico, California, and ended up doing the tour for a while in a rent-a-car, which was grueling because there was 12-hour drives, and we were 8 people, including the crew, and we were out of an SUV doing this tour in the middle of freaking summer in the desert. So it was really hard in the beginning, but bands like the Adolescents and Bad Cop came in and helped us a lot. Bad Cop carried all our equipment and our merch, and Adolescents gave us a great gift of a new guitar. And, you know, it's bands like that that really, you know, cement what this is all about, which is, you know, in unity there's power. Well, fashion is a means of expressing yourself, and some people don't wish to express themselves. They want to blend in with the rest of the crowd, but I use clothes and materials as a way of expression, to stick out and to be who you wish to be, as an identity of your own. And so I make all the merch that we have at our you know, merchandise table. Everything's handmade. It's all made with punk love, and everything I wear is just second nature. It's not trying to stick out. It's just me being me. Actually, my first rock show was I bought tickets to a festival out in Holland, and that year Smashing Pumpkins was headlining and a bunch of other really amazing bands, and so that was my first experience, and it changed my life, and I wanted to become a groupie after that. I'm like, I'm going to be a groupie and follow these bands around. It never occurred to me to start a band. Never occurred, because I didn't grow up in a musical family. Music was not a part of my upbringing. You know, in Greece we didn't have music classes or anything like that. I thought aliens played music, you know. It was so foreign to me. But then when I discovered early punk rock, the first wave of punk rock, you know, and the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, and, you know, the Clash, it changed everything for me, because these are bands that were talking about the social environment, and they were doing it to express something because they were sick and tired with the state of music and the state of rock and roll. And that's how I felt. I was sick and tired of the state of music. You know, it was the only good bands were old bands, and all these younger bands had no energy that inspired you to be who you wanted to be. And so instead of complaining about it, I decided to start a band with the guitarist Pyn Doll, and you know, we couldn't play like Led Zeppelin, so we started a punk band. Well, I mean, we only had things to go by, like you know, things that we'd seen. So my main interest was going to LA to experience the decline of Western civilization. You know, I absolutely loved the first decline of Western civilization, and all the bands that were a part of that, Feared, you know, the Germs, X, and so my culture shock was arriving to LA and realizing that none of that existed anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, what happened to punk rock? And, you know, we sold out the Roxy Theater on our first show after I passed out 10,000 flyers. And I only passed out 10,000 flyers because I got that from watching the movie, and we were a new band, so how else are you going to meet people? So I passed out 10,000 flyers. We ended up selling out the Roxy, and, you know, everybody loved us, but all the venues were telling us, you know, you shouldn't call yourselves punk rock because punk is dead. And we just like, we're not doing this so that, you know, we can be a part of what everyone else is doing. That, you know, we're doing this because we need to express something and we want to start something new. You know, it's all about starting something new. It's not about following a recipe and being like everyone else. And so we stuck at it, and then all these old bands started forming again, started playing the Strip. People started coming out and, you know, realizing that it's a state of mind, not, you know, a genre. And we changed a lot. Yeah, and a lot of bands started coming out and playing the Strip. When we were playing Orange County at the Doll Hut, we'd do residencies there, bring bands up to, you know, the Strips. We did residencies at the Viper Room and brought bands from there over to Orange County and started creating a scene, you know, because everyone was just in their little bubbles and they were just playing music for themselves as opposed to like trying to collaborate together to start a scene. So it worked, man. It worked, you know. Whatever you try to accomplish, you can do it as long as you got the brawn to do it. You know, if you want to be in a rock band, there shouldn't be any excuses or apologies or compromising. I mean, my main concern is people finding some inspiration to continue living this life and to be creative in that way. And whether it's any girls or guys or anything in between, you know, that's the goal here, is to do what we do and help inspire other people to live whatever dream it is that they're doing. Because if a band from Greece can do everything that we've done up until now, then there's no excuses for anyone else.
Young, we are strong. We are the ones. Yeah, we are young. We are strong.
We're going to be announcing a headlining tour of the U.S. in the fall, and we're going to be announcing that in 2-3 days. So find us on social media, and you'll know which date we're coming to your town. And we're going to have some great bands playing with us the whole tour. So it's a surprise, though. We have a new album out called Rub My Mind out on Motorhead Music. It was recorded at Rancho de la Luna, which is the famous studio out in Joshua Tree that helped, you know, bring out so many bands like Caius and Queens of the Stone Age and Eagles of Death Metal. And that album was written right after the Bataclan attacks out in Paris, and so it was a huge album for us to get out because it was written and recorded within that week, and it's got a lot of energy in there that can help inspire you and inspire, you know, whatever emotions you're feeling in order to express yourself. So just remember that there are no excuses in this life. Do what you wish, do it wholeheartedly, don't step on anyone's shoes, and go out there and live the dream.
Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert, intruder alert. Intruder, intruder,